Part 76. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 751. Guyao came to the battlefield alone. Only then did Elder Qin know that Immortal Emperor Qianjing had left, otherwise he would not have appeared. No one but the parties involved knew about Immortal Emperor Qianjing's soul poisoning, so even Elder Qin and the others were guessing what kind of elixir he wanted Guyao to refine. It should be able to refine the Imperial Intermediate Elixir. While Elder Qin sent people into the battlefield to investigate, he was very emotional. Guyao's alchemy was progressing too fast. He has seen countless talented cultivators, including alchemists, in the fairy and demon world over the years. It is not uncommon to be able to surpass the level of alchemy at a low level, but the higher the level, the more difficult it is, and the materials are rare and wasteful. Get up and practice. Guyao is the most unique one. The first level elixir of the emperor level that he has handed over now has top grade elixir. Many monks outside are so jealous that they are going crazy. In addition to using these pills on the battlefield, the three major martial arts halls also used a small part to exchange various resources with external forces. After all, the losses on the battlefield are huge. Guyao doesn't care that someone is looking for him at the moment. They are very fast, they travel directly in the broken void, and the monk-level monks who are weak in strength are also led by emperor-level masters. An hour later, the monk who led the way Zhangyi and Immortal Emperor Zhang stopped and said, "It's coming soon, everyone is ready to fight." Zhangyi Zhangxiandi has some special skills in finding the void beast's nest. He is also one of the masters who have benefited from mass manufacturing. He has fought on the void beast battlefield for a long time. It can be said that he is very familiar with these void beasts, just by smell. To know the trace of the void beast. Trace. Qi Changjai jumped out of the crowd and drew a sword directly. Everyone do it. The blood-colored sword light flashed past, and the chaotic void in front of them was like a curtain, and it was pulled open to both sides. While sleeping, some were playing, and some were strolling at leisure. Suddenly, an opening was opened in the space where they lived, and an angry roar sounded. However, in the blink of an eye, Qi Changjai and others had already entered, and the blood-colored sword light swept away, and immediately a dozen void beasts were cut into pieces, and they didn't even have the perception of death. Kill. All the monks rushed in. The emperor-level masters looked for the emperor-level void beasts to fight, and the other void beasts were handed over to the emperor-level monks first, in order to avoid casualties as much as possible. Zhangyi is only in the early stage of the Immortal Emperor. There are still two middle Immortal Emperors in the team, one is Qi Changjai, and the other is Immortal Emperor Yuheng, so his speed is one step behind. Just about to look for Guyao's figure, he sees his eyes a light and shadow passed by, and then looked closely. Guyao was always adorned in Qi Changjai not far away, followed by a black nightmare beast, and he himself shot a fire, taking away the lives of several void beasts. Zhangyi almost looked a little dumbfounded. Just looking at Guyao's shot, it seemed that he was no weaker than Qi Changjai, and his shot was not ambiguous at all. As he slaughtered the void beast, he couldn't help thinking that he had heard that the Taoist couple Guyao and Qi Changjai once galloped on the battlefield and gained a good reputation, but at that time he was in Tianyi City, Zhongchang, and Xiakan. It's enough to listen to the situation. Later, Guyao's alchemy skills became famous, far surpassing his achievements on the battlefield. Gradually, the monks mentioned his superb alchemy skills. Even Zhangyi also had doubts, and felt that it was just listening to them, and they couldn't be taken seriously. Maybe some monks deliberately tried to please Guyao's words. But now I know that he may have seen it wrong. No wonder Immortal Emperor Qi Changjai was so reassured to let the ancient alchemist go to the battlefield, not because he was confident that his own strength could protect the Dao companion, but because he believed that the companion had the power to protect him. There are two middle-level void beasts of the Emperor level. Immortal Emperor Yuheng, one of us. Qi Changjai heard the roar from a distance, two of which were obviously better than the one here, so he said, "Okay, let's go." The two immediately flew out to face the mid-level Emperor-level void beasts, and they fought vigorously in the air in a blink of an eye. After Guyao eliminated a few weaker void beasts around him, he set his sights on the void beasts at the early Emperor level. "Beast, leave the task of sweeping to Zizay and Moyu." The cub roared, and the black flames that covered the whole body exploded immediately. One by one, the flames fell on those void beasts, and they lost their breath in a blink of an eye. Mou is also not weak, and seems to be rushing to perform with the cubs. The tentacles roll and spread out, and can easily penetrate more than a dozen void beasts. It's not because the tentacles are so sharp that it can easily tear apart the shell of the void beast, but the mucus secreted is extremely corrosive, and can corrode the tough shell, and the void beast's flesh and blood becomes his nourishment. So it didn't take long for the monks who came to participate in the battle to find a strange scene, a group of incomparably huge alien plants, and many of the tentacles that were stretched out were hung with the mummified corpse of a void beast, and some tentacles were still hanging. I don't know one end, the longer it takes, the more it hangs, and they all form a string. This is the pet planting of the ancient alchemist. So powerful, a monk was inadvertently snatched a prey by Mou. Not only was he not angry, but he was also shocked by the wonder in front of him. Liao Su waved his hand to kill a void beast, and Hong Yan almost incinerated the void beast. Seeing Mou's performance, he couldn't help laughing. This little guy hasn't come out for a long time to feel comfortable, so he's a little lost. Don't worry about it, it is a rare and mutated strange species of heaven and earth. It can swallow anything, and it is not afraid that it cannot be digested. That's the case. I was worried about whether it would be dangerous for the ancient alchemist to go to the battlefield. Now, it seems that the ancient alchemist can stand up to dozens and hundreds of monks. The monk twitched his lips. Little guy. It's hard to call this monstrous behemoth a little guy. The cubs in the distance have very good ears. When they heard others complimenting Moyu, they snorted displeasedly, and they killed more vigorously and more violently. Often, with a bang, the black flames burst out, splashed out, and finally these black flames returned to him, and the whole body was burning with black flames, looking majestic and terrifying. Some cultivators subconsciously flew farther away, for fear that these black flames would fall on them. They knew the name of the black nightmare beast, and they saw those black flames take away the soul of the void beast with their own eyes, but they didn't want to be one of them. For a while, the eyes that looked at the black nightmare beast and Guyao were filled with awe. The more revered the cubs were, the happier they were. The black nightmare beast was scary, not afraid of not showing his majesty. So the two little ones competed with each other, and the more they killed, the more vigorous they were, and soon there was a lot of empty space around them. It can be said that half of those void beasts with poor strength were solved by them. The monks who came here are strong, and their purpose is to make a quick decision, so as not to disturb the deeper void beast and run out. This time, with Guyao joining in, they completed the cleaning task ahead of time. When the last void beast fell into their hands when it's down, I quickly search for the things here. Look, void grass. It's void grass again. I almost suspect they are used as rations. Soon I found a piece of void grass, very strange. The roots were stuck in the void, constantly absorbing the free energy around, stretching its leaves in the space cracks, and the fine cracks fell on the leaves, just to transform for their nourishment, but cannot cause any harm. There are 17 plants in total. The number shocked them. Are these guys not taking void grass as a treasure at all? It's better to leave it to Gu Alchemist to deal with it. It's useless for us to hold it. Yes, give it to the ancient alchemist. Guyao's performance in the battle also impressed the cultivators. He is equivalent to a team. Whether it is the big guy Black Nightmare Beast and Mou, or Guyao himself, his strength is very strong. Look at Guyao. The early Emperor-level masters who were worried about his safety were a little ashamed to slaughter the Emperor-level elementary-level void beast with ease. Guyao seemed to be easier to kill than them. Guyao took the void grass in the box and didn't give in. Okay, then I will accept it. If you can make a medicinal pill, you will definitely have to share it. Thank you. Where, Gu alchemist is polite. Which of them has never used the medicinal pills refined by Guyao? They quickly scoured the place, but no one felt embarrassed, and then quickly evacuated. When they shuttled through the void fragments, they heard a roar from behind, not to mention being discovered by other void beasts. They left in time. When they arrived in a safe enough area, the group divided the harvest this time. This time, Chi Chang got 2 pieces of thunder-type ore, and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng got a few pieces of materials that could be used to refine and improve his immortal artifact. After harvesting a few more times, he might be able to upgrade his fairy weapon to an acquired spiritual treasure, and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng laughed with great interest. We have to scan a few more places before other monks find out. These 2 actions must be noticed by others and will soon understand our intentions. That's fine, just push down a few more nests of void beasts, and kill them so that they are afraid to leave this space. Yeah, this is our chance. Otherwise, we have to gather the experts from the immortal demon realm to achieve the same result. Now it's good, and the difficulty is much reduced. The smooth return of their group has indeed caused quite a stir in the remaining 9 cities. From time to time, Emperor-level masters come forward to organize manpower, wanting to investigate in depth, instead of waiting for the void beast to come out. I also know that the void beast there must be something good in the old lair. There are also monks familiar with Luo Yang and others who came to ask. Luo Yang and others did not hide their secrets. Although it is important to search for treasures, it is more important to kill void beasts. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 752. When another team also copied a void beast's lair, the entire battlefield and void city became a sensation. Now even the 3 major martial arts halls realized that this was an excellent opportunity, and it was too late, so they called for a large number of masters. Enter the battlefield to fight back. As for those Emperor-level void beasts that invaded the fairy and demon world, they were restrained by Emperor-level bosses from all walks of life. If they were really allowed to run back to support, the 3 major martial arts halls said that they would definitely kill their nests and find them to settle accounts. The harvest of copying the old nest that has been continuously exposed on the battlefield has pushed this anti-killing operation to a new high, and even attracted foreign Emperor-level masters to join the Void Beast battlefield. In such a situation, Guyao followed Chi Changjai and his team to fight 3 more times before returning to Void City. After he left, Yu Heng, Luo Yang and the others were relieved to be honest. During the 3rd battle, not only Guyao himself noticed a crisis, but Chi Changjai and Immortal Emperor Yu Heng also sensed it and ended the battle decisively. When he left the battlefield and entered Shangjukan, the sense of crisis receded. It's very likely to be a peak-level void beast, which has been hidden in the dark and has not made a move. Of course, I also noticed another breath. It is because of the existence of this breath that the void beast of the peak level did not shoot. Guyao realized that the other breath should be the Emperor-level peak master sitting on the battlefield, the supreme power of the fairy, demon, and demon world. It is also because of his existence that the void beast has scruples, otherwise Guyao doesn't know if he can hiding in the small world in time to take refuge, whether the peak-level void beast can break the barriers of the small world. Guyao is not willing to take the risk to prove this possibility. So he obediently returned to Void City. It seems that some people or beasts are desperate to deal with him. Elder Qin came to see Guyao at the first time. During this period of time, he was worried to death, and Guyao's heart was so frightened that his heart jumped out. Of course, he also knew Guyao's amazing combat power. He knew that if not his alchemy skills are too outstanding, and he can become another powerful combat force on the battlefield, no less than Qi Changjai with his own strength. Master Gu, you are finally back. If you don't come back, it is estimated that some monks will run into the battlefield to find you. The first time can be concealed, the second time and the third time, what exactly did Gu Yao enter the battlefield for? He spread it out, so the monks who could not see Gu Yao usually ran into the battlefield one after another. Maybe they could take the opportunity to ask for a pill. No matter how bad it is, when Gu Yao is in crisis, he will desperately try to save him. This can always teach Gu Yao to owe them a favor, and the favor can be remedied with the medicine pill. Many people came in with this kind of thought in mind. Of course, Elder Qin did not rule out some people with great intentions and some desperados. It is very likely that the idea of Gu Yao's own wealth was the idea of he made so many medicinal pills. There must be a lot of inventory on him. After the robbery killed him, he ran away, and then hid for hundreds of thousands of years, and when they came out, would someone still bite them? So Elder Qin was really worried, but fortunately, Gu Yao didn't go wrong. Gu Yao smiled embarrassedly, let Elder Qin worry about it. By the way, the one who appeared on the battlefield. Elder Qin understood and said, it's the Supreme Elder of Moutang, the master of the late Devil Emperor, and the three Supreme Elders take turns to sit here, shocking the others. Peak Void Beast. Down. But what if the elders are negligent? Besides, the one from Moutang has a bad temperament. It turns out that, Elder Qin can rest assured. After I come back this time, I am going to retreat to study the Void Pill, and strive to refine the Void Pill. Gu Yao thought that his feeling was not wrong, he was really being targeted by the Peak Void Beast. Well, it seems that this battlefield is impossible to enter. Elder Qin was excited when he heard this. Okay, Gu Alchemist will definitely succeed. After Elder Qin left, Gu Yao told his master and Su Chen to retreat. He actually gained a lot from entering the battlefield this time. It can be said that his understanding of heaven and earth has improved a level. He has a hunch that he feels that I don't need to wait until I enter the peak of the Immortal Emperor. I can easily kill the Peak Void Beast in the later stage. Specifically, I don't mean to kill it directly, but to throw it directly into the turbulent space as in the Epiphany. Let it struggle. In fact, Gu Yao himself had a strange feeling. After listening to Immortal Emperor Qianjing talking about the temple and the controller, he felt more and more that he seemed to be heading towards the controller and never looked back. Now he can control a small square of heaven and earth, but as his cultivation level rises, the most important thing is the continuous transformation of his soul power. Gu Yao didn't know if he had become swollen, but this thought actually became stronger and stronger. Rubbing his eyebrows, Gu Yao dodged into the space. The next moment, the three-headed Ziodan fell on Gu Yao's shoulders, shaking his head and said, "Brother's progress has been very fast recently, look at this small world expanding more and more. The bigger it is, one day, this place will become another big world." Gu Yao stood in mid-air, everything in the small world was reflected in his mind, countless fairy grasses and fairy fruit trees, fairy springs happily galloping in the mountains, and there were mineral veins hidden under the mountain peaks, some of which already belonged to precious smelting materials, and the appearance of sectite or veins. It's hard to believe that this is the result of hundreds of years. In the previous travels, he and Qi Changjai had already assembled the other three sources of the five elements, making this small world more and more vibrant. He looked at the mountains that stretched for countless miles. Evolves true life on its own. It is also because of the expansion of the small world that his control over the world is getting stronger and stronger, and even when facing the enemy, he can use this control to kill the enemy, but considering the existence of the temple, Gu Yao has not revealed any flaws, otherwise he didn't know whether he and Qi Changjai could live to the day they entered the temple. "Xiao Dan, do you remember who your previous master was?" Gu Yao asked indifferently. The three-headed little man frowned and tried to recall this question, but the more he thought about it, the more his brain hurt. he shook his head and said, "Brother, I don't remember a lot of things from the past. There's a lot more to remember." As Guyao's cultivation level rose, Xiaodan's strength naturally followed suit. He was another master here, and of course he had to obey Qi Changjai. Guyao smiled, but he was not in a hurry to know these contents. Xiaodan couldn't recall them. Maybe those memories were sealed, waiting for one day to reopen. He was not in a hurry. Maybe that day, Xiaodan would not need to recall, he knew everything. I'm not in a hurry. Let's start alchemy now. Void Pill is helpful to both the middle and late Emperor level monks. This time I can harvest a lot of void grass. Guyao appeared on the top floor of the pill pavilion the next moment, sat beside the pill stove, turned over a few boxes, and had more than 50 void grasses. I'm about to go crazy. Who would have thought that the void grass, which was rare for thousands of years ago, would grow together? Alchemy is easier in the small world, because everything here is under your control. Even if you want to fry the furnace, it is not easy. As soon as he thought about it, all the accessories appeared beside him. The lotus heart fire wrapped the pill furnace. Guyao put all the accessories into it, and began to temper it. One bad, let the violent space energy leak out, then you have to fry the furnace, but here, Guyao can use the power of the small world to suppress these violent energy, making it more obedient. In the first furnace, 5 low-grade void pills came out. In the second furnace, 2 middle-grade void pills and 5 low-grade void pills came out. The third oven. At the 10th furnace, he harvested the first top-grade void pill. Guyao breathed a sigh of relief and succeeded. The next time was spent in continuous alchemy and revitalization recovery. Elder Qin also announced to the outside world that Guyao was in retreat. This made the monk who wanted to see him extremely disappointed. Why did he retreat? Well, I heard that Guyao has a lot of void grass in his hands. Could it be that he wants to use these void grass to make void pills? Thinking of this possibility, one by one is more eager to move, and many forces have entered the battlefield, asking the monks to buy the void grass in their hands. This was impossible in the past. Whoever wanted to get a void grass would definitely not dare to speak up. Otherwise, they would have to wait for others to kill and rob goods. It might even cause a lot of fights. This kind of thing hasn't happened on the Void Beast battlefield before. It's different now. When there are too many things, they appear cheap. Of course, this is for the situation in the past that there was no market for prices. In the past, no amount of immortal stones could be bought, but now I can offer a price. Some monks will be tempted and give up the void grass in their hands. Some monks left Void City with void grass and asked other emperor-level alchemists to refine them. Whether Guyao can refine imperial-level middle-level pills is just a guess. Even if it can be refined, this void pill is also dangerous. Only the emperor-level high-level alchemists have some certainty. If Guyao knew about this, he wouldn't take it to heart at all. It would be better if he didn't trust him, and he could relax. He learned from his master and elder Qin that there are only 2 emperor-level high-level alchemists in the entire fairy world, one from the fairy world, one from the devil world, and none from the peak. That is to say, the 2 emperors' high-level alchemists are the alchemists with the highest status in the entire alchemy world. It is not easy to ask them to take action, but it may not be a problem to have void grass. Even for those 2 alchemists, it is usually impossible to get a lot of void grass. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 753. I heard no, the Sultan has come to our Void City and has successfully refined the Void Pill. Not only Master Sultan, but I heard that Dan Master Zhang is also on the way. These 2 are both Emperor level and intermediate level alchemists. It is clear that they are all here for the void grass and other good things. This is interesting. We are in Void City. It can be said that the emperor-level alchemist has gathered together, and there has never been a period where there have been 4 emperor-level alchemists at the same time. I think the ancient alchemist is even better. The ancient alchemist can refine the top-grade pills of the first-level emperor, can the sultan and Zhang alchemy. But this doesn't mean that the ancient alchemist can't refine the emperor-level middle-level pills. You must know that the ancient alchemist has already been promoted to the emperor-level alchemist before he became an immortal emperor. There are rumors that Huo Pengxian the emperor and the immortal emperor Qianjing both asked the ancient alchemist for an emperor-level middle-level elixir. You also said that it is gossip, not conclusive evidence. Besides, even if the ancient alchemist entered the middle emperor level, he may not be able to refine the void pill. In the restaurant, the battle for alchemists was fierce. The 3 emperor-level alchemists each had their own supporters, and there were quite a few monks standing on Gu Yao's side. Most of them were old residents of Void City and regulars on the battlefield. He is almost Gu Yao's die-hard loyalist. Those who have eyes and conscience will not know how much Gu Yao has contributed to Void City over the years. As for the Sultan and Zhang Dan, although their cultivation base and strength are respectable, in terms of righteousness, these two were thrown far away by Gu Yao, because Gu Yao was in the most difficult time in Void City, without hesitation. He rushed back to help Void City, and even offended some major forces for the sake of the 3 major martial arts halls, because he handed all the medicinal pills to the 3 major martial arts halls. But what about the last 2? I didn't see them coming at the most difficult time, and now they appear in Void City. Why do I need to say? If there is no void grass in Void City, will they come? Even if these 2 are here, can these monks who often go to the battlefield use the medicinal pills that they can afford? Only the ancient alchemist has a heart of compassion, and he is not afraid of the danger on the battlefield. He personally runs to the battlefield and kills the emperor-level void beast. Su Fa walked in from the outside angrily and shouted, "I'm so off. You actually said that my junior brother's alchemy skills are not as good as those of those surnamed Su with the surname Zhang, and their alchemy skills can also be discussed with the junior and junior brothers. Now, they say that junior brother is unable to make pills, so he has not been able to come out." Mei Sun's temper is usually good, but now she frowned and rebuked, "Whether it's Sultan or Zhang Dan, they are your seniors, emperor-level middle-level alchemists. How others talk about it is someone else's business. You don't want to be convinced, and come back when you beat them yourself." This is what he shouted in front of him. If outsiders hear it, this kid will never have good fruit. These 2 are long-established emperor-level alchemists, and their appeal and influence in the fairy and demon world can't be compared with Gu Yao, a late-stage alchemist. What his disciple Gu Yao lacks is time and precipitation, that is to say, not to lose to the alchemy of these 2 people, but to time and age, young, in the end suffer a bit of a loss. Su Chen's face immediately collapsed. He was still at the stage of immortal monarch. If he wanted to catch up with these 2, at least wait for him to be promoted to immortal emperor. Master really thinks highly of him. Then Master, tell me, what's the matter with these 2? Su Chen asked humbly for advice. They were promoted all the way too fast, and they had too little dealings with the pill realm of the immortal demon realm. In the area of Void City, before this, the only emperor-level alchemist I had ever seen was Xie Yuan Xie alchemist, a junior. He actually despises those surnamed Su and Zhang privately. Although alchemist Xie Yuan didn't come over this time, at least he was invited by the 3 major martial arts halls to sit in the alchemy hall. He was also very polite when he asked to see him, and when he was interested, he would give some pointers on alchemy, but now the intentions of these 2 were too obvious. At this moment, Immortal Emperor Yu Heng walked in with a strong aura. "What did you say?" "Which 2? The Immortal Emperor Yu Heng is back. Where is the little monk?" Looking back, no one was there. Immortal Emperor Yu Heng laughed, "I will take a step back first, they will arrive later." Now Su Chen didn't rush to leave, and said with confidence, "Immortal Emperor Yuhang, we are talking about Sultan and Zhongdan, these two are very high, and one just came to Void City and trained it. The Void Pill has been rumored, and one is still halfway through, and has already built up momentum in our Void City, and everyone outside is saying that junior brother is not as good as them." Sultan Su and Cheng, Master Zhang Yun and Dan Zhang, Immortal Emperor Yuhang didn't stay in the city, but returned directly through the void, so he didn't know what was going on outside. Exactly, is Immortal Emperor Yuhang familiar with them? Immortal Emperor Yuhang flashed a stern look in Su Chen's eyes after confirmation. Mei Sun shook his head and said, "The past is over, Xian Wu. Tang has already stood up for me, and there is no point in pursuing further investigations. With the current status of our master and apprentice, it is useless to do what they want to do." Su Chen immediately realized the problem and exclaimed, "The people who suppressed the master in the first place are related to them? Which one is it?" Immortal Emperor Yuhang said with a sullen face, "If you don't pursue it, they may not be convinced from the bottom of their hearts. They came here at this time, maybe it's for you and Xiaoao." Then he explained to Su Chen, "I couldn't get along with your master at the beginning. Is it the two of them, but Su Heking's disciple, who was an immortal like your master at the beginning, but is still an immortal now, the disciple is incompetent, so the master will come forward." Mei Sun laughed, "They are the incompetent disciples, the master came forward, but I can ask the disciples to support me here. You say, who is better? It's okay if they don't care, if they really care, I will lose face." "Who?" Su Chen laughed first. Immortal Emperor Yuhang was stunned for a moment, and then burst out laughing, "But that's not the reason. At the beginning, Mei Sun was actually better than Su Heking's disciple Shi Yehua in alchemy, but Shi Yehua came from a good background, and also had an emperor-level elixir master as a backer, so Mei Sun, who was a loose cultivator, could only keep avoiding his edge, and that's all. It was like being held back by the other party, and if he wanted to take Mei Sun's alchemy technique, he had to ask the master to come forward. Of course, Mei Sun couldn't compare to Shi Yehua's master Su Heking, but now Mei Sun's disciples can surpass Shi Yehua's master Su Heking. If Guyao really wanted to slap these two masters and apprentices in the face on the spot, they would definitely become the whole immortal demon. Demon world joke. As for whether Guyao can outperform Su Heking, in the opinion of Immortal Emperor Yuhang, there is no need for comparison at all, because Guyao has already stepped into the ranks of emperor-level middle-level alchemists. So as soon as Guyao left the gate, he saw Su Chen who was guarding his door. Even Qi Changjai showed him a helpless look, and he couldn't drive him away. What could he do if he was dead here? "Brother, is something wrong?" Su Chen came over and patted Guyao's shoulder, and said with a heavy face, "Junior brother, the task of avenging our master this time is left to you, but don't fall for our master's name." Guyao has a puzzled look on his face. Why can't he understand? "What do you mean?" Su Chen continued his efforts. "Our master is famous for being better than the blue, and he taught a disciple who is better than the master in a short period of time. Seeing that the other is about to catch up, there are a few in this fairy, demon world. Can people compare?" Unbearable Qi Changjai stretched out his hand to grab Su Chen's shoulder and threw him to the next door. Next door was where he and Ligzu lived, and said, "Take good care of this guy. As far as Su Chen wants to outperform Lan, let's talk about it after raising his cultivation base to become an immortal emperor." Su Chen was angry, but he couldn't even make a sound, so mad at him. Is it interesting to bully him because his cultivation is higher than him? Have the ability to wait for the day when he catches up and try again. After Qi Changjai came back, he already knew the truth from Su Chen and Mei Sun, so he didn't need Su Chen to speak. Qi Changjai could explain it clearly, so he relayed what Mei Sun told him. Guyao was astonished to hear this. It turns out that the alchemist Qi that master offended was Su Heking's disciple? No wonder, when our cultivation base was weak, Master didn't let us intervene, and said that the matter was resolved. It turns out that the other party's still holding on. Shi Yuhua was the one who didn't care at first. After the mediation of the 3 major martial arts halls, he was still not convinced, and wanted to find an opportunity to step on their master and apprentice again. Only they can touch the principle of love in this world, and others can't touch it? Or do they feel that their fists are still bigger now? They came just right. I thought the matter was resolved. Now they send them to the door to humiliate themselves. Then I will not be polite if you can only ask the master to come forward. If you have the ability, you can also teach a disciple to compare with him and his senior brother. Shi Yuhua, Yuhua Pavilion, Suheking. I remember Guyao felt that he could do too little for the master, and he would definitely come forward to fight for the master in this matter. Guyao had heard of Yuhua Pavilion, and knew that it was a force that could not get along with master. It turned out that this Yuhua Pavilion was Shi Yuhua, the disciple of Suheking, an emperor-level middle-level alchemist. The alchemy power of the people knew too little, so they didn't understand the relationship between them. Seeing how Guyao was gnashing his teeth, he looked just like Su Chen. Qi Changjai smiled and said, "It's natural for you to come forward on behalf of Master Mei. I believe you will be able to speak up for Master Mei." Of course Guyao gave a rare arrogance. Usually, he is quite humble when he asks himself, but when facing the enemy, he has to put on a high stance and then throw out a bottle of medicine pill. "This is for you, you can use it up again. If you ask me, I will send a bottle to Immortal Emperor Yuheng. By the way, tell the master about this alchemy experience by the way." After Guyao finished speaking, he left. Qi Changjai opened the bottle and saw that, as expected, the void pill was still a top-quality void pill. He forgot to mention that now, the reputation of Suheking is spreading everywhere in Void City, and compared with Xiaoao, Suheking refined it. The void pill will be auctioned in 10 days. The momentum of the creation is indeed very big. The more Guyao does not show up, the more people feel that he is guilty. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 754. In the VIP room by the window of the tea house, 5 or 6 monks were sipping tea and talking, obviously led by a middle-aged monk, and a young female monk next to him said proudly, "This time, Master has come out, this time in the empty city. Who can compete with Master? Junior sister is right." The disciple heard that Don Shizhong has also retreated to make alchemy after his arrival. There is no movement until now. I really think that this void pill is so easy to refine. When can Don Shizhong be better than Master? Haha, you are right. I heard that the alchemist with the surname Gu is just a sloppy child, and his life years are not as good as ours. I didn't expect to be so arrogant. Know whose world this immortal world is? An emperor-level expert laughed loudly. Hearing this, Suheking's eyes flashed with a hint of complexity. Talking about his age, wouldn't he expose his shortcomings? Could it be that Suheking wants to compete with a yellow-mouthed child on the level of alchemy? Putting down the teacup, Suheking smiled and said, "This is wrong. This alchemist did not come to Void City to compete with the younger generation. I, Su, a young and excellent alchemist, also admired it very much, but this time it was it's for the void grass. I didn't expect there to be so many void grass here. It's really a blessing for my generation." The Sultan said it well. The Sultan's knowledge and mind are naturally not comparable to me. Master, this is the demeanor of a senior. The young and beautiful cultivator is Shi Yuhua. When he said this, jealousy flashed in his eyes. He even let the Mei Sun escape and found Yuheng. The immortal emperor supported him. What made her jealous the most was not only that Mei Sun had overwhelmed her with her alchemy skills, but also that this had broken through to become an immortal emperor, and she was still at the peak of immortal monarch. After learning about Mei Sun's breakthrough and promotion, Shi Yuhua almost vomited blood with Xian Yuanli violently. Hatred deepened. This time, it was she who jumped on Master to come forward. She was favored by Master because she knew Master's temperament best and knew what Master wanted to hear. Master really didn't like a young alchemist with a growing reputation and pressure. Trend passed him. Suheking waved his hand in a generous manner. I didn't expect Don Zhang to come too, but unfortunately I haven't had time to meet, otherwise I will discuss with her. But in Void City, there is definitely a chance, we old guys. It's rare to see one another. Books. Immortal Emperor Yuheng accepted the void pill very happily. This was the filial piety given to him by Mei Sun's disciples. He looked at Guyao with admiration, remembering the first time he saw Guyao when he rushed to Piaoxiu Immortal Domain. Is still a little earth immortal who has no experience in the immortal world for the first time. At that time, he never expected that he and Qi Change-I would grow so fast. It can be said that Qi Change-I's combat power is not inferior to him at all. According to the speed of their promotion, it will not be long before they will surpass him, and Guyao's alchemy skills have already surpassed Mei Sun. This master. He also heard a lot of gossip outside, and there were many colleagues who asked him about Guyao's situation openly and secretly. Maybe if Guyao couldn't refine the void pill, maybe they would fall to Suheking's side. When it comes to his own interests, he can understand, but these guys are too careful about Guyao. They don't know at all, not only alchemy, but even the cultivation base. Guyao has already broken through the initial stage and entered the middle stage of Immortal Emperor. During the last battle, Luoyang Demon Emperor and those people had seen it to some extent, but seeing that Guyao didn't reveal what he meant, after coming back, he also concealed it in unison. Su Chen happily said, "You finally got out of the quarantine. If you don't do it again, there will be chaos outside. A large group of monks will fight the monks who are on Suheking's side because of you." The anger that threw him out. "Where is it now?" Guyao asked with concern. "Does Jialan Pavilion know?" "They are going to auction the void pill refined by Suheking in 10 days. Now they are promoting it in the city. Needless to say, they can attract a large number of emperor-level masters. This Jialan Pavilion is quite good. Yes, it was one set after another for our master and apprentice 3 before, but you haven't even shown up yet, and they have predicted that you will be defeated, so they can't wait to turn to Suheking." Su Chen thought of this, and the more he talked, the more angry he became. They have stayed in Void City for a long time, especially Mei Sun. Mei Sun is not a person who likes to offend people, so they maintain a good relationship with the big merchants in Void City, but this time Jialan Pavilion did not want to advance. After the notification, he stood on Suheking's side. He didn't believe that these well-informed merchants would not know the grievances between Mei Sun and Suheking's master and apprentice. Mei Sun's eyes flashed with coldness. He was also offended this time. Do you really think he has no temper? He also worked hard all the way from the lower realm. Just take this opportunity to see how much weeds there are, and we can choose to communicate with each other in the future. Guyao nodded quickly. "I listen to Master. I will do whatever Master tells me to do, and I will definitely beat their faces back." He had brought his face close by himself, so how could he be polite? Of course, he slapped it back. The news of Guyao's exit quickly spread, and the commotion in the city calmed down a lot. In fact, many monks were watching and waiting. Although Suheking was more senior and had a higher cultivation base, in their eyes among them, Guyao's age means that he has more potential, and his talent in alchemy is obviously higher than that of Su and Sheng. Can Suheking dare to say that he can make the best emperor pill? Even the top-ranked ones are hard to come by. Based on this, they are a lot inferior to Guyao. Even if Guyao's eyes can't refine the void pill, he will catch up sooner or later. Elder Qin rushed over immediately and asked with concern how to deal with the matter. Although Suheking and his apprentice didn't say anything, anyone with eyes knew that it was from Chongmixun and his apprentice. You must know that it was Xian Wuotang who came forward. It is said that the two sides just had a grudge. He had come to ask Mei Sun to do this before, and Mei Sun said that everything would wait until Gu Yao left the customs, so he came. Gu Yao smiled lightly. Elder Qin, don't worry, I have my own opinion. They want to step on the reputation of our master and apprentice, but it is not so easy to step on. The past and the present should all be returned, and Elder Qin patiently waited. Bar. Gu Yao did not directly answer whether he had refined the void pill, but this remark gave Elder Qin a reassurance, and Elder Qin suddenly smiled. I feel at ease with the words of Master Gu. I have lived such an age, I have seen many monks, but there has never been an alchemist whose talent is as outstanding as that of the ancient alchemist. Not to mention the ancient alchemist, over time, whether it is alchemist Mei or alchemist Su, some people will look up to him. The talents of the three master and apprentice are the highest in his life, and Gu Yao is the most outstanding. He dares to say that as long as he gives more time, not to mention Gu Yao, even Mei Sun and Su Chen will catch up sooner or later. Su Heking left him behind, and a Shi Yuhua actually made trouble inside, ignoring Xian Wutang's reconciliation as nothing. You must know that Mei Sun is now a member of Xian Wutang, the general person in charge of Dantang. Stepping on Meixun means stepping on their Xian Wutang. Xian Wutang can't have a good face towards Su Heking. Yes, he is an emperor-level middle-level alchemist, but Xian Wutang has also asked these emperor-level alchemists for help over the years, but Su Heking has always been very nice in his mouth, and he pushes it whenever something happens. It has never been implemented into specific actions, sometimes asking for pills for injured emperor-level masters, and the price offered is too high for Xian Wutang to bear. Based on this alone, Su Heking will never be able to compare with Mei Sun's master and apprentice. After Elder Qin left, many cultivators came to ask questions. Some of them were testing Gu Yao's retreat. They guessed that his retreat was related to refining the void pill. Gu Yao didn't answer directly. Some cultivators flew over directly. But it directly means that he is on the side of Gu Yao. There were Demon Emperor Luo Yang, Demon Emperor Huixu, Immortal Emperor Zhang Yi. There were quite a few, but the cultivators who were watching had their jaw dropped. Unexpectedly, Mei Sun, who was forced by her to flee, now has such an appeal to her apprentices. Shi Yuhua, has to rely on the name of her master to get the favor of the Immortal Emperor. It was still in the early days of the Immortal Emperor. The Emperor-level masters rushed over in person one by one impatiently. Some people have very strong backgrounds, such as Demon Emperor Luoyang, Demon Emperor Huixu, and I heard that Gu Yao has a very good relationship with the Dragon Clan and Phoenix Clan. Shi Yuhua is more jealous of Gu Yao, far more than Mei Sun. After Luo Yang and the others arrived, they saw that Gu Yao and Qi Changjai were not worried or nervous, so they didn't say much, just ate, drank, chatted and relaxed in the yard, waiting for the good show to kick off. Others should also be afraid of Su Heking, an emperor-level middle-level alchemist, but one of them is in the demon world, and the other is in the demon world, and they have little to do with Su Heking. As for Zhang Yi and other new emperor-level masters, to be honest they probably couldn't even get in Su Heking's door, and they didn't want to surrender their identities to go to the door. Master Gu, Elder Zhao of Fenjiayun Trading Company is here. Fenjiayun firm? Gu Yao blinked and said, I have asked Elder Zhao. After a while, Elder Zhao strode in. He is obviously the elder of the business firm, but he has a very strong aura. Gu Yao has always had a good impression of him and Fenjiayun business firm. Not only has he helped himself in many ways, but also Elder Zhao these years. He also often walks around the battlefield. Haha, Alchemist Gu is finally out of the gate, let someone Zhao wait. Elder Zhao, please take a seat. Elder Zhao and the others greeted each other again, and then said bluntly, I wonder how the ancient alchemist thinks about the auction that Jialan Pavilion will hold. Jialan Pavilion is a competitor of Fenjiayun firm. In the past few days, due to the auction of Void Pill, Fenjian firm has been severely suppressed. Because Jialan Pavilion is taking advantage of this opportunity to buy void grass, Fenjian firm can't show any strength. I am afraid that the void grass at hand is very limited. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 755. Guyao smiled and said, Elder Zhao, I actually have an idea. Please speak. Elder Zhao's eyes lit up. It's better to organize an auction on the second day of the Jialan Pavilion auction. The specific auction is not necessary to publicize. Those emperor-level masters, whether they come or not, don't have to force it, Guyao proposed with a smile. However, Elder Zhao sensed that Guyao's anger was aimed at Master Su Heking and Jialan Pavilion. The second day of the auction is the auction of my Fenjian firm, and Zhao will go back to organize. Okay, I wish Fenjian business a success. Elder Zhao didn't stay much longer, and he left after getting the answer. Luo Yang and the others also smiled and said, wait until the auction of Fenjian Trading Company, I will definitely go to help out. Okay, let's go together. Guyao still didn't mention the medicine pill, and he didn't give out the medicine pill he promised. Doesn't the outside world want to know whether his retreat has yielded results, so let them guess for a while. He just wants to appear mysterious. It doesn't matter if he is praised or criticized, the final strength can determine the winner or loser. The movement of Elder Zhao of Fenjian Commercial Bank was seen by many people, but before he entered and after he came out, there was no difference. He still looked like he was ready to go to the battlefield at any time. It was unpredictable. What message did he get from Guyao? People who are not familiar with him see this appearance, then the wind and cloud business is finished this time, and the Jialan Pavilion will suppress the wind and cloud business this time. However, as soon as Elder Zhao returned to Fenjian Trading Company, he was busy, and privately disclosed the news that Fenjian Trading Company will also hold an auction. Asked the time. Unfortunately, it was on the second day of Jialan Pavilion, so that everyone would not be delayed to participate in the auction of Jialan Pavilion. As soon as the news came out, many monks were in an uproar. What did this mean? Could it be that Elder Zhao has already obtained the void pill, so he has to fight with Jialan Pavilion? Or maybe Fenjian firm is actually setting up an empty gate formation, which is called a loser and can't lose. Look, there are many cultivators who suspect that he has already obtained the void pill. The cultivator who watched the excitement was unbearable. Did he get it? Wouldn't it be better to give an accurate word? Deliberately hanging people's appetite. The monks and forces who are going to participate in the Jialan Pavilion auction are hesitant. Whether there is a void pill or not, the meaning is very different. Everyone knows that the quality of Guyao's pill is much higher than that of other pill masters. If he can refine the void pill, the quality must be higher than Su Heking's, then it is not worthwhile to participate in the auction of Jialan Pavilion. Therefore, Fenjian Trading Company will give them an accurate word, so that they can decide which auction to participate in, otherwise Jialan Pavilion will give up here. But Elder Zhao just didn't let go. These bigwigs could not wait to join forces to drag out the surnamed Zhao, beat him hard, and not play tricks like this. In fact, they didn't know that it wasn't Elder Zhao who wanted to play tricks, but Guyao himself. It wasn't them who played tricks, but Jia Lang and Su Heking's master and apprentice. Looking at the changes in the Void City, Elder Zhao was in a good mood. It was not that no one under his team suggested that he should try his best to win over Master Su and Cheng. No matter how bad it was, there was still Master Zhang Yun, and he couldn't wait for the results from Master Gu. Bar. Fenjian firm is open to do business, so Guyao can't offend other emperor-level alchemists by himself. Elder Zhao said in his heart that being Guyao's master and apprentice is a good-natured person, and he let them handle the situation. The reason why Guyao has always been very polite to Fenjian firm is because the people of Fenjian firm have good eyes and invested in Guyao when he was at the end of his life. Uncontrolled, Once it is exhausted, it will be difficult to restore it. Besides, Elder Zhao is mentally prepared that Gu Yao will not be able to refine the void pill in a short period of time. The reason why he invested in Gu Yao in the early days is because he is optimistic about their potential and future. In his opinion, Gu Yao's potential and the future is far bigger than Su and Qing's master and apprentice. Su and Qing's are too big, and they are almost at the end. It is too difficult to go further. But Gu Yao is different. Elder Zhao knows that there are 3 emperor-level high-level alchemists in the fairy and demon world, including some emperor-level junior-level alchemists, all of whom aim to become the first emperor-level top-level alchemist. However, Elder Zhao feels that, among these emperor-level alchemists, there is only one person who is most qualified to aspire to the top, and that is Gu Yao. Difficulties are temporary. Once Gu Yao succeeds in the future, Fenjian firm is likely to become the #1 firm in the entire immortal demon world. Thinking of such a prospect is bubblingly beautiful, so he sees long-term interests. This move by Fenjian firm confuses the senior management of Jialan Pavilion, and they are also the ones who want to beat Elder Zhao. What do you mean by the surname Zhao? Are you saying this is an empty city plan, or are you fighting with us? The pavilion master said depressedly. I think it's a mystery. It's not that I underestimate the ancient alchemist. Everyone sees the strength of the ancient alchemist, but he lacks a little time and precipitation. Maybe the surnamed Zhao is not waiting for the ancient alchemist, but Zhang Danqi. Yeah, the pavilion master is overly concerned. Besides, our merchants only open the door to do business, and don't ask about the grievances between the monks. After we do business with the ancient alchemist, we can no longer communicate with other alchemists. The ancient alchemist cannot so domineering. But I've heard of the grudge between Master Meidan and the master of the Yahua Pavilion. Will it be? What kind of grievance? I understood earlier, Master Meidan is so careful. Are we going to offend Master Sultan because of Master Gu? You must know Master Sultan has been famous for a long time, and the alchemist he has cultivated and the connections accumulated over the years are far. The non-ancient alchemist is comparable to his master. Gu Yao's master and apprentice are very popular, but they are high in the area of Void City. Outside of Void City, apart from the friends they traveled and made friends, there are not many others, and their personal connections have not been opened. It's still very big. Su and Qing alchemy masters, the contacts formed are all from the middle of the emperor level and up. How many masters of the middle and late emperor level are now coming to Gu Yao to ask for alchemy? Yeah, Pavilion Master, we have already set a date, and we have already announced it. If it is interrupted at this time, it will not only offend Master Gu, but also offend Master Sultan. The Pavilion Master said helplessly, so, let's proceed as planned. I hope everything goes well, and there will be no setbacks. Of course, Shi Yahua also got the news, and his first reaction was, humph, they are so mysterious. I think they have a guilty conscience and don't dare to fight with us. Su Heking glanced at the disciple indifferently and said, there is no need to contend for the length of the moment. So far, how many plants of the void grass have been sent? Shi Yahua immediately said, several people have already contacted the disciples, but the price has not been finalized, so it has not yet been negotiated. Master, rest assured, these void grass will be masters. Danqi Zhang has not yet made the void pill. She does not have this. Compete with master in strength. Su Heking has been paying attention to Zhang Yun's situation, knowing that she has not yet left the customs, and said with satisfaction, hurry up and do it, but unfortunately, I heard that a lot of void grass has flowed into the hands of the ancient alchemist, so I will do it for the teacher. Worry about being wasted by him. Master, why don't you? Su Heking raised his eyebrows. It's not too late to wait until the auction is over. Okay, Shi Yahua is very confident at the moment. She will definitely be able to buy the void grass in Gu Yao's hands for master, so as not to be wasted by him. I believe many people agree with her. The day of the auction is getting closer and closer. The Void City monks found that there are more and more emperor-level bosses in the city. Although they have adapted to the previous situation, the arrival of more and more emperor-level bosses is still overwhelming. They were a little breathless, and the monks who used to be public on the streets in the past also restrained a lot because of this pressure. Did you see it? It was Immortal Emperor Huo Peng from Huangji Palace just now, and he was also a mid-level emperor-level master. The Immortal Emperor of Xianhuan Palace came earlier, also in the middle stage of Immortal Emperor. And the demon world. The devil is here too. The early stage of the emperor level is nothing. This auction is the home of the middle stage emperor. This auction is the largest auction that we have ever held in Void City. Jialan Pavilion is really going to soar. I wonder what the situation of Alchemist Gu and Alchemist Zhang is. As soon as these words came out, many people were silent. After all, in the hearts of local monks, Gu Yao was more respected. Without Gu Yao and Alchemist Mei Sun, who had been in town for a long time, they provided a lot of medicinal herbs. I don't know how many people will die on this battlefield. Cultivators, maybe they will be one of them, so they are watching the fun, but they are not willing to step on Gu Yao because of Su Heking. Of course, there are many monks who support Su and Qing while stepping on Gu Yao, some who just came from outside, some who did not benefit from Gu Yao here, and various other situations. On this day, the auction of Jialan Pavilion officially opened. The pavilion owner was very excited when he saw the emperor-level bigwigs entering the venue. Pay a lot of price to move. The pavilion master, the immortal emperors of the Huangji Hall of Xianhuan Palace have arrived. The pavilion master needn't worry now, their relationship with the ancient alchemist is not that important. Well, you have to maintain order and don't make any mistakes. Yes, pavilion master. Immortal Emperor Huo Peng saw the cultivator who came into his box, and said displeasedly, "What are you doing here? Your Xianhuan Palace can't even get a box. Are you out? Come to our imperial palace as early as possible." The person here is Immortal Emperor Feng Hai of Xianhuan Palace, who has the same strength as Huo Peng. I am curious, don't you have a good relationship with the ancient alchemist, and you have come to rush to shoot the void pill here? Immortal Emperor Huo Peng exploded his temper and said, "Fuck, I just come to see the fun, just rely on that Su Heking, worthy of being compared with the ancient alchemist? His brain is broken, don't worry, I won't rob you. He just came to see how many fools there are, and the immortal stones prepared are used to smash tomorrow's auction." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 756. Feng Hai Immortal Emperor laughed, "If you, Huo Peng, come to see the fun, you won't allow me, Feng Hai, to join in the fun? Old Huo, when will you be able to stop your anger? Go away." Immortal Emperor Huo Peng was angry. Immortal Emperor Feng Hai was not angry at all, he smiled and shook his head and walked out of the box. Immortal Emperor Huo Peng was grinding his teeth in anger, this bastard. Although Immortal Emperor Huo Peng came to watch the excitement, it did not affect the popularity of this auction at all. Many monks were unable to enter the venue, so they just watched from the outside to see how many emperor-level bigwigs showed up to participate in the auction this time. This means that they have restrained the aura on their bodies, otherwise, just mixing these together can destroy the Jialan Pavilion, which is extremely defensive. Jialan Pavilion is also unambiguous. When he came up, he started to auction a low-grade void pill, which immediately pushed the atmosphere of the auction to its peak. Big. Not only him, but also the master and apprentice Su and Qing in the VIP room. Shi Yahua was triumphant, looking at the crazy scene outside, and said with a smile, "Master," the disciple asked, "the guy surnamed Gu didn't come to the auction, it must be stage fright." Not only did he not come, but his master also didn't come. Suheking did not scold the disciples for being disrespectful to Guyao, because Guyao was also an immortal emperor, an emperor-level elixir master. What kind of thing was Shi Yahua? Together with Qi Changjai, both the master and the apprentice would have to die. This only shows that Su and Qing also mind, and they are jealous of Guyao, a young junior who is promoted too fast. Where's Dan Zhang? Still haven't left the customs yet. Yes, master, she hasn't come out yet. Maybe she got the news about the opening of the auction. She hasn't made any medicinal pills yet, so she doesn't dare to come forward in the name of seclusion. These people are completely suppressed, and she can break through the bottleneck in one fell swoop with this strength. Don't be rude, Dan Zhang is an emperor-level middle-level alchemist, and he is your senior. Suheking reprimanded, looking at Shi Yuhua's eyes. He knew he didn't listen. The boxes are also divided into grades. At this time, there are 2 cultivators in the lower level box who are also watching the bidding of the void pill. How does Dan Zhang see this void pill? Suheking not only stepped on the head of the newly promoted emperor-level alchemist Guyao, but also stepped on you, Dan Zhang. It turned out that the female cultivator in this box was Zhang Yun, who was said to be in retreat, but at this moment, she restrained her breath and changed her appearance, and calmly came to the auction site. Zhang Yun smiled. The surnamed Su is impatient. This void pill barely entered the lower rank. I don't know how many void grass he wasted to make this furnace, and there should be at most 2 or 3 pills in one furnace. He stepped on me again. It's not the first time. I didn't expect to be so careless with a younger generation. It's really lost the style that has been maintained for many years. You haven't heard that there are several forces that did not participate in the bidding of the void pill. What? Another cultivator can sense the situation outside with the thought, Xianhuan Palace, Huangji Palace, these 2 parties are not involved, and there are forces in the demon world and the demon world that have not joined them. They don't like this void pill, or because of. Zhang Yun sighed and said, these forces are all related to that ancient alchemist. Compared with the void pill, I actually pay more attention to this person's alchemy technique. I have been studying his alchemy for most of the time these days. I have to say, this is the first time I, Zhang Yun, have admired the alchemy technique of my fellow practitioners. To the emperor-level intermediate-level alchemist, which one is not the most amazing generation, and how many geniuses have fallen in the middle? I have heard that Mei Sun's talent in alchemy is good. As long as there are no accidents, sooner or later, he will become another emperor-level alchemist in the fairy world. I didn't expect that the talent he accepted as a disciple is still higher than his, and in his I was promoted before, and I was promoted when I was at the peak of Xianjun. Then tomorrow's auction, another cultivator didn't expect Zhang Yun's evaluation of Guyao to be so high. Hearing what she said, Suheking was no longer qualified to be Guyao's opponent, which shocked the cultivator. Guyao is really too young. It is said that it takes only 1,000 years to ascend to the immortal realm. How can it be described as a genius? It should be a lucky person. There must be a void pill, and its appearance is higher than that of Suheking, Zhang Yun asserted, because she realized the strength of this person's soul power and the extraordinary control power from the pills refined by Guyao, either, or it's not as simple as the inferior pill. She has never suffered a blow from Suheking, but in Guyao, a terrifying young alchemist, she has experienced the mixed taste, giving birth to jealousy, and of course appreciation, so tomorrow's auction will be held. She will definitely go. The first void pill was finally won by a force in the immortal realm with 120,000 top-quality immortal stones, and then the auction of the second void pill started. Not only did the atmosphere not subside, but it became even more popular. The sky-high price of void pill will make all present. The monk was excited. At this moment, there are still monks from outside coming to Void City, and the monks who stayed outside and paid attention to the auction situation noticed it for the first time. It's the cultivators of the Phoenix clan who have arrived. I didn't expect the void pill to attract all the cultivators of the Phoenix clan. Look at the back, it's the Dragon clan. Heaven! The Dragon clan has also come, and the momentum is not weaker than the Phoenix clan. The two sides entered the Void City boundary at almost the same time. I heard that the relationship between the two parties has eased recently, but looking at this battle, it seems that there is still something to see. Otherwise, they wouldn't even enter the Void City, and they had to worry about the time sooner or later. The Phoenix clan took the lead, and the Dragon clan did not let it go. At the last moment, they were eager to overtake the Feng clan, and the Feng clan did not give up. Almost hit in the air. You said that the two of them came to participate in the auction of Jialan Pavilion? Although they came a little late, they did not hinder the next auction of void pills. It should be, otherwise what are you doing here? The cultivators below were watching the excitement, and some even thought they were standing too low, so they flew into the air to see, so they saw that the two sides were actually fighting in the air, and they fought all the way, huh? Where is that? Why didn't you go to Jialan Pavilion? They went to the guest house of Xian Wuotang. Could it be, they went to the ancient alchemist? They didn't come to participate in the auction of Jialan Pavilion. The pavilion master of Jialan Pavilion had just received the news that both the Dragon and Phoenix clans had arrived, and he was even more excited. These two clans were relatively exclusive and both had high self-esteem. Generally speaking, they disdain to deal with foreign cultivators, especially Rengziu. These two races are extremely wealthy races. Even if their power is shrinking now, they are not as good as those in the heyday of the past. They can occupy a lot of treasures. Big ship. From the pavilion owner's point of view, since the Dragon and Phoenix clans have come to participate in the auction in their pavilion, they are optimistic about the Jialan Pavilion. Taking this opportunity, they may be able to further their relationship with the two clans. At this time, he regretted it a little. He heard that the relationship between the Feng clan and Guyao has been further improved. Because the relationship between the Feng Huang of the Feng clan and Guyao is very weak, maybe he should not have held this event without saying hello to Guyao in the first place. This auction, otherwise with Guyao's recommendation, it would be easier to get in touch with the Feng clan. What were the thoughts then? It was the cultivators around Shi Yahua who gave them a hint, suggesting that they did not have a good relationship with Mei Sun's master and apprentice before. How could the pavilion master fail to understand what they meant? Seeing the void pill that Shi Yahua took out, the pavilion owner agreed without even thinking about it. Down. Have you come? Where are the people from the Dragon and Phoenix clans? The pavilion master strode out and asked. The pavilion master is not good, the pavilion owner is not good. A cultivator flew over from a distance and exclaimed, people from both the Dragon and Phoenix races ran to Xian Wuotang. What? The pavilion's body swayed. Xian Wuotang. You mean, they all went to the ancient alchemist? At the same time, Su Heking also got the news. Just now, Shi Yahua was also very shy. Master made the void pill, and even the Dragon and the Phoenix were drawn over by them. Su Heking didn't say anything, but there was a look in his eyes. It also showed his good mood, but he didn't expect to get the news that they went to Guyao's place just after being happy for a while. It's Gu again. It's against us. Damn it, Shi Yahua's aura almost burst out. Shut up, Su Heking scolded, it's not the first time that the old guys from the two clans have shown their faces to me. Master, you said they did it on purpose for Master to see, Shi Yahua asked, rolling her eyes, feeling much better after thinking about it. Who knows, these two tribes of monks are arrogant, and they don't have to have the same knowledge as them, but although they are arrogant, there are masters in the family, and there is no master. You must remember not to provoke them. Don't blame the master for not taking revenge for you if you were slaughtered, Su Heking said very seriously, not ruling out the occurrence of this situation, How could he really not know the temperament of this disciple Shi Yahua? In the outside world, he borrowed his reputation a lot. Although Shi Yahua was a little unconvinced, he also knew that some people were really hard to provoke, so he could only say, "Got it, master." Meisun and his disciples, who were chatting in the guest house, were also surprised when they heard the sound of Fengming and Long Xiao coming from outside, and the sound was obviously getting closer and closer until they saw their figures. And finally determined that it was coming towards them. The group and Elder Qin, who came as if stepping on a hot wheel, immediately lifted off into the air to meet him. The cultivators of the two tribes turned into human figures one after another. Fen Yishuang and Ao Kinkan, who led the team, glared at each other, snorted coldly, and then turned their heads and said together, "Gu alchemist, let's say goodbye that day. How have you been recently? Dear fellow Taoists, we the Dragon, Phoenix, clan is here to disturb you." After speaking, they glared at each other again. "Why are you stealing your own words?" When Elder Qin and Meisun saw this, they couldn't help laughing and laughing. It was like a feud. It was like an enemy. They came together, because they were afraid that the guest house below would not be able to withstand their tossing. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 757. Guyao and Qin elders invited the Dragon and Phoenix clans to take a break in the guest house. The monks from both sides were very happy. Guyao and Qi Changjai basically recognized the people who came, except for the elders who led the team, Feng Yuanzheng and Aozi. Men is also their old acquaintance, and now he is an emperor-level expert. 17 or 18 two clans came. Except for the emperor-level masters, the rest were of the monarch level, who came out to watch the fun. After all, it was rare for the two clans to have elders personally lead the team to protect them all the way. When they arrived at the guest house, Fen Yishuang first conveyed how the Emperor Feng missed Guyao and Qi Changjai. This made the Feng clan very helpless. If it wasn't for the fact that Emperor Feng was too special and was discouraged by the elders, he would lead the team this time. The one who came out would be the Emperor Feng himself. Although Feng Huang has a responsibility to the Feng family, but from a personal point of view, there is no such thing as Guyao and Qi Changjai who have come to their fellow clan. The most difficult time for Feng Huang is Guyao, and the road to becoming Feng Huang is also the same. Guyao was with him, and Emperor Feng treated him and Qi Changjai with a fledgling mentality. But seeing Ao Kinkan blowing his beard and staring at him, Fen Yishuang and the other Phoenix clan were glad that Guyao was closer to the Emperor Feng, and the Dragon clan had to stand back. Don't they know that Ao Qingkan actually wanted to send a single dragon of the Dragon clan to break up Guyao and Qi Changjai, and dig Qi Changjai's corner? It was the first time for Meisun and Su Chen Liaosu to deal with these people. Meisun was a little reserved, but Su Chen and Liaosu were different. As a result, the atmosphere was quite lively, and the younger generation did not hold their own identity. With a high profile, you and I chat with each other in full swing, that is, occasionally the Dragon and the Phoenix have guns and sticks, and they often stop at the juncture of the fight. All the monks outside were paying attention to this scene. The choice of the Dragon and Phoenix clans shocked them. After entering the guest house, they never came out. Could it be that they gave up this Jialan Pavilion auction? Or give up the void pill? Or maybe they are all optimistic about Guyao, or did they get the news in advance that Guyao also made a void pill? There are various speculations, that is, the monks in the Jialan Pavilion auction are also paying attention to the movements of the Dragon and Phoenix clans. Some monks and forces were hesitant in the bidding process, resulting in the price of the second void pill not exceeding the first one. Terminated on the 100,000 best immortal stones. Su Heking's face suddenly sank. The pavilion owner was also very annoyed, but he could not question the attitude of the Dragon and Phoenix clans, so he could only grit his teeth and send a voice transmission to the auctioneer, "Auction other items first, and move the remaining void pills to the back. When the Dragon and Phoenix clans arrived in Void City, the atmosphere in the auction reached the highest peak, as if it would explode at the touch of a button, but when they went to the Xian Wuotang guest house, the heat began to shrink. Even if the auctioneer tried his best to, no matter how hot you want to be, you can't control this trend. What should I do now? Do you want to go to the Fenjian firm's auction tomorrow? But how can the auction of Jialan Pavilion end in one day? The rest of the void pill should be kept for the end, and you will miss it when you leave. But what if there is also a void pill at Fenjian Commercial Bank? Maybe the quality is better? Could it be that the Dragon and Phoenix clans don't look down on the void pill? Maybe they got the news from the ancient alchemist and came to help out. This. Many people hesitated. Immortal Emperor Huo Peng sneered, and there was no isolation. The laughter came directly from the box, and everyone in the auction room heard it clearly. Su Heking and the pavilion owner's face became even darker. Immortal Emperor Huo Peng even laughed. How could that old thing Su Heking take him? Lao Tzu has suffered a lot from him. Anyway, he has already offended him. What is the difference if he offends more? Moreover, I have a good eye, and I met Gu Yao and the ancient alchemist. My personal experience told him that the ancient alchemist's alchemy skills are much better than this old thing, and this old thing is destined to be left far behind by the ancient alchemist. Dare to fight with the ancient alchemist in the ring? Dare to step on the ancient alchemist? The ancient alchemist will use his strength to fight back ruthlessly. Immortal Emperor Feng Hai said with a smile in the other box, I knew this guy had some festivals with Su Heking. How could he come over to take his pills? I think this guy already knew that the ancient alchemist was already an emperor-level middle-level alchemist. Right. When Jiang Yingxian Emperor confirmed, ancient alchemist's pills are the best I have ever seen. In this respect, Su and Qing alchemists are not as good. According to my feeling, Su and Qing Neng can refine the void elixir. Even more so. Besides the amazing alchemy skills of the ancient alchemist, he is also outstanding in his promotion speed. Immortal Emperor Qi is already in the middle stage of the Immortal Emperor, and maybe the ancient alchemist is about to be promoted. With other people, Feng Hai and the other cultivators in the box had some rebuttals, but just as he opened his mouth to speak, he recalled the speed at which the two of them had progressed along the way, which can only be described as appalling. Feng Hai Immortal Emperor smiled. Needless to say, when Fenjian Commercial Bank starts, let's leave here, in the face of Gu Alchemist. The child still has to be given. When Zhang Ying sneered in his heart, if it wasn't for the judgment in his heart, Feng Hai Immortal Emperor would have said these words. But whoever made Feng Hai stronger than him, he can only put his words in his heart. Days and nights passed, and neither the dragon nor the phoenix came out of the guest house. The next day it was bright and the auction of Fenjian Trading Company would also start. Only then did the Xian Wuotang guest house move. Gu Yao walked out surrounded by the crowd. Gu Yao was surrounded, and even Qi Changjai was pushed aside, and Qi Changjai could only show a helpless expression. Ao Ximen and Feng Yuanzhen walked with him. Both of them admired Qi Changjai. Few people were able to convince them. Qi Changjai was one of them. It's only been a long time, and after being promoted to Immortal Emperor, it didn't take long for him to rush to the middle stage of Immortal Emperor, as if he had eaten a gun. Luo Yang, Huixu, Zhang Yi, and the others had gathered in front of the Fenjian Commercial House auction hall and waited. Although they knew that the Dragon and Phoenix clan had not come out after they went to the guest house, it was still shocking to see the scene of the two clans traveling. Can't help laughing. Husu muttered, I really didn't expect the Dragon and Phoenix clans to attach such importance to one person's cultivation. Luo Yang glanced at him and said, although these two clans have high self-esteem, they are not fools. They can't see the potential future of the ancient alchemist and brother Qi. The ancient alchemist is not other emperor-level alchemists. They are also arrogant, they don't have much blood, how can they let go? Husu pouted, It's not that Feng Lingfei is a big fool. Demon Emperor Luo Yang was speechless for a moment. Feng Lingfei was going to be a joke in the entire fairy world. I don't know how many years she would be laughed at. If it wasn't for the appearance of the Emperor Feng, the status of the Feng clan would have been really dangerous. Elder Zhao personally led the people to wait at the door to welcome Gu Yao and his party. In his opinion, even if Gu Yao did not refine the void pill, it would be enough. Which auction would allow the elders of the Dragon and Phoenix clans to be present in person. So far, only Gu Yao has this qualification. He still underestimated Gu Yao's potential. The pavilion master of Jialan Pavilion was in a hurry at this moment, because Immortal Emperor Huo Peng took the lead and left the box swaggeringly, and left the venue in full view of the audience. Following Immortal Emperor Huo Peng, Immortal Emperor Feng Hai also took a few monks and left. With these two parties taking the lead, one by one some people left the stage. The auctioneer got the sound transmission and raised the void pill again. The third void pill will be auctioned next. Halfway through, the cultivator who heard the voice hesitated for a while, but when he saw Immortal Emperor Feng Hai walking to the door, he stepped out without any hesitation, so he followed. Damn! The one who was the most angry was not the pavilion master, but Su Heking. The teacup in his hand turned into powder with a bang, and his normally gentle face was twisted now, looking a little hideous. Zhang Yun also got up and walked out. Let's go, it's almost the same when you see here, go and see the void pill refined by the ancient alchemist, I will also take a picture. She didn't hide her description anymore when she came out of the box, so she was recognized as soon as she appeared out of the box. That's Don Zhang. I didn't expect Don Zhang to come, and now he's going to Fenjian firm. Damn things. The whole table in front of Su Heking was shattered, and the aura on his body burst out. Shi Yuhua couldn't speak what he wanted to say, and blood oozing out. How could Zhang Yun not notice this momentum? He smiled in the direction of Su Heking, and continued to walk out. The pavilion master of Jialan Pavilion was about to faint when he saw this scene. He not only offended Gu Yao, but also Don Zhang. Now that Zhang Yun has also left, does he also think that Gu Yao has made a void pill? He is still holding on to the last bit of expectation. Gu Yao is too young to be able to make a void pill. When the auction on the other side ends, these people who leave will all regret it. Yes, Gu Yao is too young, and a series of actions in Xian Wutang make people feel that he is too soft-tempered and too good to talk. It is inevitable that people feel that he can handle it, and he is not as powerful as Su Heking. The alchemist, because the cultivator wanted to ask Su Heking for alchemy, everyone knew that he had a high threshold, and the remuneration he gave did not meet his conditions, so he could not be invited to take action at all. Comparing the two, there are quite a few monks who want to coax Su Heking first, like the pavilion owner, and he is definitely not the first person in the pavilion. However, no matter how young Gu Yao is, he is now an immortal emperor, an emperor-level alchemist. How can others despise him and think he can handle it? The cultivators who were watching the lively outside noticed that many people had withdrawn from the Jialan Pavilion auction house and went to Fenjian commercial firm, and they all stared and opened their mouths, right? There are also a lot of people who are watching the fun and don't think it's a big deal. They applauded. This is even more interesting, the two are going to fight. Anyway, I support Alchemist Gu, let's go to Fenjian commercial firm to help Alchemist Gu. People from Fenjian firm were also worried at first that the auction would not be able to mobilize the atmosphere because of the small number of people who came. Not to mention that the price of good things could not be auctioned. The emperor-level master is here, and his mouth can't be closed. Time is up. We will start the auction now. The first item is provided by the ancient alchemist. Even I don't know what the auction item is. Let's reveal the true face. It's void pill. It's a high-grade void pill, the auctioneer roared until his voice was hoarse. With the sound of boom, the atmosphere of the Fenjian firm's auction immediately exploded. Auras rushed out of the box, and the spiritual senses wrapped around the items that were just taken out on the auction table. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 758. It's really Void Pill. Top grade Void Pill. I didn't expect that the ancient alchemist really made a Void Pill, and it was still a high-grade Void Pill. Suheking is an emperor-level middle-level alchemist, and the ancient alchemist is far superior to him. Fortunately, the first 2 rounds of competition did not grab the Void Pill, otherwise the immortal stone prepared will be wasted. No matter how many immortal stones, it's not such a waste. The Taoist consciousness wrapped around the top-grade Void Pill conveyed a wave of excitement. The auctioneer was only at the early stage of emperor-level cultivation and could not stop these big guys from investigating, but he was even more excited, even though he had some guesses in his heart. This time it should be Void Pill, but I didn't expect it to be a top-grade one. Darling, Master Gu is the real master. Just this Void Pill slapped that old man Suheking in the face. Needless to say, I will produce 100,000 top-quality immortal stones. Before the auctioneer could say the reserve price, an emperor-level boss called out. Fuck. The inferior one next door sells for 120,000 yuan, and you only open 100,000 yuan? Are you looking down on Gu Alchemist? I'll sell 130,000 top-grade immortal stones, this is flattering Gu Yao. 130,000? Hey, then I'll pay 150,000, this one shot even harder. The cultivator who ran into the Fenjiun commercial firm's auction hall to watch the excitement was so excited that his heartbeat was about to stop. Although Jialan Pavilion and Suheking were both betting that Gu Yao could not refine the Void Pill, Jialan Pavilion still sent someone in just in case. As a result, when the high-grade Void Pill came out, the cultivator was almost scared. Sitting on the ground with your ass, sending a message quickly, it's incredible. Something is wrong. Elder Zhao arranged the largest box for Gu Yao. At this moment, many people were staying with him. When Gu Yao handed a box that was isolated from the atmosphere to the auctioneer, they were also guessing what medicine pill was in the box. They had just woken up from the shock at this moment. Luo Yang laughed. I knew that the ancient alchemist would not lose to the old thing Suheking, but I didn't expect that the one that came out was top grade, which shocked the audience. After today's auction, Gu Alchemist, you are destined to become famous. The whole fairy world. Not bad. Alchemist Gu has such strength, Ao Ximon's eyes flickered. The other dragons were in another box. He stayed here by taking advantage of the opportunity to get acquainted with Gu Yao long ago. When others bid, Ao Ximon couldn't help but be in a trance. Do you really want to consider Ao Kinkin's proposal? As a result, his eyes swept to Qi Changjai, who was sitting next to Gu Yao, and his heart was agitated. Stop. Stop now. Unless his dragon body can stop the immortal slaughter sword in Qi Changjai's hand, it is still important to save his life. Elder Ao Kinkin is crazy, he can't think about it together. Where, Gu Yao said humbly, Sultan and the others have been in the alchemy profession much longer than me, Gu Yao, and the accumulated experience is incomparable, I can't compare them, they have a lot to learn from me. The place. Let's not talk about this, brother Luo. The void grass you stored with me before has been refined into Void Pill, and it's just now that we give it to you together. Gu Yao took out several jade bottles and sent them to Luoyang Huixu, Zhang Yi, and the others. Thinking of the void pills in the bottles, Ao Ximon and Fen Yuanzhen's breathing became hurried. If it's too high, it doesn't cost a single immortal stone to rob, of course, the premise is that the robbery is successful. Luo Yang was stunned for a moment, then looked at Gu Yao's serious expression, and immediately laughed heartily, and waved his hand to put away the bottle in front of him. Okay, put it away. I, Luo Yang, are the most fortunate in this life that I went to Piaoxiu Immortal Realm. I got to know you two good brothers. Hyugzu smiled and said, I'm not welcome, your big brother Hyugzu. If there is such a good thing in the future, please call us again. Many thanks to Master Gu. Zhang Yi thanked him solemnly, and looked at Gu Yao with more respect. If he hadn't known that this guy's thoughts were very simple, Qi Changjai would have wanted to gouge out his eyeballs, and Ao Ximen. This guy, who thought he was honest, actually dared to use his brains that shouldn't be used. Zhang Yi and Ao Ximen both felt cold in their vests. Zhang Yi was unaware of the situation, and Ao Ximen rejoiced again, and it was right to take his mind, or else he would get into trouble with the evil spirit Qi Changjai. Gu Yao added, there are other Taoist elixirs, I have them already, brother Luo help me ask how to deal with it. Okay, wrap it on your big brother Luo, it's easy to cause trouble for them directly. Now many people are staring at the void pill, they take it with them, I am afraid they will be robbed before they go far, it can be used completely. Void pills can be exchanged for other applicable pills from Gu Yao. Medicine. At this moment, the first high-grade void pill outside finally fell into the hands of the rich and powerful dragon clan. The transaction price reached 250,000 top-grade immortal stones. Even Ao Kinkan was so distressed that it was all those dragon cubs who were unsatisfactory. Qi Changjai's ability, these immortal stones not only do not give up, but also earn a lot of money. It's a pity that he, Ao Kinkan, is too old. If he was younger, he would have to try to see if he had a chance. All the little brats with no guts dare not even fight for it. Please put on the second auction item, it is still the void pill provided by the ancient alchemist, the middle grade void pill. 100,000 top quality immortal stones. Before the reserve price was quoted, there were still people rushing to bid. The auctioneer hurriedly added, the ancient alchemist just sent a voice transmission, in addition to immortal stones, the same value of heaven and earth treasures can also participate in the auction. This time, the atmosphere in the auction hall is even more enthusiastic. After all, the preparation time for immortal stone is short, and the number of preparations is limited, but the treasures of heaven and earth have reached the stage of the emperor-level boss. Who doesn't have any good things on them? It is better to take out and trade the void pill that is helpful to one's own cultivation. The second one was snatched by alchemist Zhang Yun. As an emperor-level middle-level alchemist, his net worth was naturally extremely rich. Gu Yao hadn't dealt with the two emperor-level middle-level alchemists who came to Void City. At first, he didn't hear it. After being told by Luo Yang and the others, he was also surprised. He also thought that Zhang alchemist was still in retreat. I thought that I would run out to participate in the auction here, and I was so proud of my own field. Obviously a different character from Su and Sheng. I just got the news that Danqi Zhang also participated in the auction next door and left the venue with Immortal Emperor Huo Peng and the others. That old man Su Heking got angry on the spot, but Danqi Zhang doesn't need to worry if others are afraid of offending him. Elder Qin, who came with him, talked about the gossip he had received. Gu Yao didn't expect such an episode, but it was exactly what he wanted, so he said to Mei Sun, Master, why don't we wait for the auction to end? Let's go and see Danqi Zhang. Mei Sun nodded, and didn't want his disciples to offend the emperor-level alchemists, so Alchemist Zhang came to support him in person to explain the problem. Okay, this is as it should be, then the three of us, master and apprentice, will go together, and between alchemists. There should be frequent discussions and exchanges, and Danqi Zhang has a lot of knowledge, and there are indeed many things that we can learn from. Elder Qin and the others were filled with emotion when they heard it. Looking at such a proud man, he was not so arrogant as to be arrogant. Based on this, he would go further than that old thing Su Heking. The future is not impossible. Look forward to the top spot. In Jialan Pavilion, as soon as he received the news from Fenjiayun Commercial Bank, the pavilion owner's face turned blue and white. He knew that this time was over, and Gu Yao's achievements far exceeded his expectations. Before this, who would come? Telling him that Gu Yao can refine a high-grade void pill, his first reaction was to directly fan people out of Void City without being so bluffing. Now the worst has happened. Is it too late for him to look back and ask Alchemist Gu for forgiveness? Just when his face was ashen, a situation that made him even more embarrassing happened the next moment. Several Emperor-level bosses didn't say hello, and after a few swoops, they disappeared from the auction hall, and they were not afraid of causing an auction. Banned backlash on the field. The monks who have not made second-hand preparations can't guess the truth when they see the situation. It must be the void pill with better quality from the Fenjiun commercial bank next door, so these people can't wait to go over and take pictures. I received news that Fenjiun firm has produced a top-grade void pill. With a bang, the atmosphere in the Jialan Pavilion's auction room was also blown up, but the meaning was completely different from that of Fenjiun commercial firm. The pavilion master's face was ashen, and Su Heking was immediately angry, got up and walked out. Let's go. What are you left for? Waiting to be embarrassed? Shi Yuhua didn't dare to speak at all, and couldn't even get close to Su Heking, because he was crushed by the air pressure around Su Heking's body first. Su Heking, stay here. A cultivator in the box flew out directly and shouted at Su Heking, this is the first Emperor-level boss to capture the low-grade void pill. The void grass of the seat is left. Come on, call the elders to come out to maintain order, or the auction hall will be blown up. The pavilion owner couldn't regret it, and quickly called someone to invite someone. Su Heking was even more angry. Do you know the consequences of doing this? Do you think that I, Su Heking, are made of mud and let others rub it? I don't care what you are doing, I know that I have suffered a big loss this time. The most void grass will give you is a low-grade pill. I also want to taste the taste of a middle-grade and high-grade void pill. Su Heking, you can't do it? Don't stand in my way. Okay. Good. I, Su Heking, wrote it down. Su Heking was angry and threw the void grass that was handed over to him, then turned around and disappeared into the auction. Shi Yuhua was dumbfounded and quickly chased after him. Going out, even the face of the master is useless, she is an immortal king. Feng also cannot show his prestige. As soon as Su Heking left, other cultivators who were interested in buying the void pill also left very simply. They stayed before because they didn't want to offend Su Heking to the end, but now that Su Heking is gone, what are you waiting for? As for Jialan Pavilion, if they are not in their eyes, offended, and the world is not only a merchant of Jialan Pavilion. When the elder Taizhang arrived, he saw the deserted auction venue that had left most of the time. The auctioneer stood awkwardly in the middle of the stage, wondering whether to continue. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 759. Different from the more and more deserted atmosphere on the Jialan Pavilion, Fenjiun Commercial Bank is getting more and more hot. Although the first wave of void pills has been auctioned, the big guys who came here are still very supportive. Participated in the auction of other items, because a batch of void pills will be released in the middle and at the end. High-grade void pill, the Emperor-level bosses who didn't care about Fenjiun Trading Company and Guyao before, really regretted their hearts to the point of blood, especially the boss who tore his face with Su Heking. In front of He Qing, it took the boss's efforts to get him to let him go to help with alchemy. The more he thought about it, the more angry he became. It would be fine if Su and Qing Danchu were as good as he said, but he was far behind Guyao, a young and backward person, so he still wanted to step on Gu Alchemist at this level? If it weren't for Su Heking's announcement that Guyao, a latecomer, wasn't progressing so fast, he wouldn't have put all his bets on that old thing Su Heking. This guy will never admit it. He also saw Guyao clearly because he was too young. The thoughts in his heart are actually the same as Suheking. The alchemy is. Now I have to pull my face down and ask for a pill from an underachiever. This emperor-level boss has a bit of trouble on his face. It's better to wait for the void pills in the back and take 1 or 2 shots. Thinking like this, he angered the old man Shang Suheking. He had spent 120,000 top-grade immortal stones in Jialan Pavilion before, not even counting the generous gift he gave to this old man. Seeing that emperor-level bosses kept coming from Jialan Pavilion outside, Luo Yang and others in the box were also happy for Gu Yao, and this time they slapped Suheking and Jialan Pavilion in the face. And at this time, people kept sending pilgrimage posts to Gu Yao's box. Before, these posts could not be sent to Gu Yao. They even sent them to Danqizhang, but Gu Yao didn't have them here. Luo Yang introduced to Gu Yao where these guys are from, and said, "Don't give them a good face, the things they send are too cheap, so don't pay attention to their requests. It is only because you are young that people look down on you, and you should let them know that the threshold for your ancient alchemist is also very high, and if things go on like this, they will not dare to ignore you." Gu Yao laughed, but knew that Luo Yang was for his own good. At this time, another post was sent outside, and when they heard the name reported by the service staff in the venue, the expressions of the people in the box changed. "Danqizhang wants to see you at this time. Can you see me?" Gu Yao looked at master and senior brother, and seeing that there was no objection between them, he nodded and said, "See you then, brother Luo Yang, you guys. Don't worry about us, we've just been here for a long time, go out and see if there are any other things of interest to take pictures, anyway, give Fenjian business some face." Luoyang Demon Emperor waved his hand, Gu Yao master and disciple chatted with Zhang Danji alchemy, they are not suitable to stay any longer. The others left with Demon Emperor Luo Yang, and Gu Yao and his apprentice came out to greet Danqizhang in person. Although others would despise him because of his youth, he was indeed a young and underachiever compared to Danqizhang and other veteran emperor-level alchemists. A humble attitude is appropriate, and it is impossible to offend all the alchemists in the alchemy world. As soon as I got out of the box, I saw 2 cultivators, one male and one female, attracted by the service staff. Needless to say, the female cultivator who appeared to be around 30 was Zhang Yun and Zhang Danqi. Without waiting for Gu Yao to speak, he said to convenience first, "It's Gu Yao, Gu Alchemist, I'm Zhang Yun, I would take the liberty to interrupt, I hope Gu Alchemist is not surprised. It's Gu, when Danqizhang came to Void City, my master and brother wanted to visit. Now that Danqizhang is here, it's our honor. This is my master and my brother Su Chen," Gu Yao said politely. "Master Mei, Master Su," Zhang Yun smiled and nodded as the two nodded. Mei Sun said enthusiastically, "Please come from Master Zhang Dan." "Okay, please." Zhang Yun followed the 3 of them into the box, and another male cultivator also followed. When they got inside, they greeted Qi Chain Liaoxu again. On the other side, Elder Zhao learned about the situation here. The busy people redelivered the precious fairy fruit and fairy tea, be sure to entertain them. Gu Yao and Zhang Yun got close, and Elder Zhao was also happy to see them. After all, Fenjian firm couldn't rely on Gu Yao alone as an alchemist. Zhang Yun knew that Gu Yao was young, and so was his Taoist companion. Right now in front of her, he was very sure that these 2 were younger than she expected, and their cultivation years were short. Favored. I heard Dan Master Xia mention it earlier, Dan Master Mei is not only good at alchemy, but he is also very good at teaching his disciples. After he left Void City, he mentioned a sentence to Zhang, saying that maybe he will be able to hear Master and Apprentice Mei Dan in Immortal Realm soon. De Ming, in my opinion, alchemists still underestimated your strength. If I can't go to the top, I also hope that I can train a disciple to reach the top instead of myself and see the scenery there. Therefore, Zhang Yun is still quite envious of Mei Sun's good luck. Meeting such a talented person disciple. Dan Zhang is very praised. When Dan Xie was in Void City that day, he gave me a lot of advice, Mei Sun said politely. Although she was very happy in her heart, it was only at this time that she realized that Dan Xie and Dan Zhang should have a good relationship. Alchemist Zhang quickly went straight to the topic. This time I'm here for the void pill. Gu Alchemist should have a high-grade void pill on him, right? I wonder if Zhang can make a deal with Gu Alchemist alone. Gu Yao replied without thinking, yes, it is my honor that Danchi Zhang sees the medicinal pills I have refined. Zhang Yun laughed a few times. Zhang does not take advantage of the ancient alchemist. This is a blind pill improved by Zhang, and it is also used to improve the middle stage of the Immortal Emperor, whether it is the ancient alchemist or Yudao. Immortal Emperor Lu Qi can use it, but because it is of the middle grade, I will compensate you for some items. Gu Yao also knew that he should slowly change his mentality through this void pill incident, so since Zhang Yun wanted to trade at an equivalent price, he accepted Zhang Danxi's things rudely. Exchanged. The elixir that Gu Yao got was indeed a pill recipe that was not in the elixir book. It was the result of years of research based on the missing ancient recipe. Although Gu Yao didn't get the other party's pill recipe, but based on his own judgment, he also asked a lot of questions to sort out these things. Given time, it's not impossible to deduce this pill recipe, and he himself is not stingy in refining the void pill. With the experience of Zhang Yun was a little short on the door. With some tips on using soul power provided by Gu Yao, he might be able to succeed. This exchange is about half a day, but neither side feels how fast time passes, and they can't wait to communicate for 10 days and 10 nights. Gu Yao was right. As a veteran emperor-level alchemist, the other party has much more knowledge and rich experience than himself. Compared with the other party, what he lacks is time. You can save yourself a lot of time. Seeing that the auction was coming to an end, Zhang Yun ended the exchange with an unfulfilled interest. Unfortunately, the time is too short to communicate with Master Gu and Master Mei more. Gu Yao and Mei Sun nodded in agreement, but it was because the time was too short and the occasion was not right. They should take out the pill furnace in the pill room to test it on the spot to have more fun. As for Su Chen, he was still at the monarch level, and the communication about emperor-level medicinal pills could not keep up. Before I came to see the ancient alchemist, I was hesitant to tell the ancient alchemist. It can be seen that after seeing the ancient alchemist, I no longer hesitated. The ancient alchemist has already entered the middle stage of the immortal emperor, and he became the middle emperor level before that. It's an elixir, Master Zhang Yun said frankly, while the male cultivator beside her was shocked. He didn't even notice it. It seems that Zhang Yun found out early in the morning. No wonder Zhang Yun admired this ancient alchemist's alchemy skills so much, and it was truly amazing to have achieved such an achievement at such a young age. Yes, I didn't want to hide it deliberately, I just wanted to keep a low profile. Could it be that what Danchi Zhang wants to say has something to do with this? Gu Ye Hao. Qi Road. Zhang Yun couldn't help laughing out loud. He really should keep a low profile. Even if Qi Changjai advanced to the middle stage of Immortal Emperor so quickly, many monks were shocked. If you know that Gu Yao entered the middle stage of Immortal Emperor together, you don't know if it will arouse Taoism. Unstable. I didn't see it before, it was not public, and I made Su Heking want to suppress it, but the suppression was unsuccessful, and Zhang Yun didn't have any sympathy for Su Heking. Yes, it is related to the cultivation base, and it is also related to the cultivation base of alchemy. If the ancient alchemist was still at the elementary level, Zhang would not dare to take the risk of recommending it to the ancient alchemist, but now he will be much more sure. The ancient alchemist does not know, maybe your master Mei Danchi has heard about it. There are no emperor-level top-level alchemists in the fairy and demon world now, but it does not mean that there were no alchemists in the past. Now we have found the legacy left by the senior, and we must gather the power of everyone to open it and enter it. May be able to obtain the method to become a top-level alchemist. Guyao really didn't know about this, looked at Master. Mei Sun nodded earnestly. Yes, I have heard about Master, but I don't know much about it. For example, this time when Don Zhang said that he found the old man's estate, he didn't know that he was going to gather everyone. The power of the power is turned on. If it is confirmed, it should be of great help to the future advancement. As far as I know, it is not so easy to advance to the top-level alchemist. It hasn't happened in hundreds of thousands of years. Yes, it hasn't been for a long time, so we all felt that maybe something was missing that would prevent later emperor-level alchemists from advancing. Guyao asked, is it appropriate for me to go? The Sultan should also participate, won't he object? Zhang Yun sneered, his objection is useless. When the ancient alchemist became an emperor-level middle-level alchemist, it means that he has enough strength to participate. The ancient alchemist is extremely talented. I think many people also hope that the ancient alchemist can enter, and more in the future. Going to the next level. Gu alchemists should know that the strength of our alchemists to find the remnant mansion is still weak, and we cannot do without the support of the great forces of the fairy and demon world. Alchemist. Guyao understood, this is not something Suheking can decide alone, maybe because he has restrained himself before and didn't disclose his truth. Because of his cultivation, he didn't get the relevant news. Otherwise, Zhang Yun might not have to invite him, and he would also get this news from other channels. However, Zhang Yun was able to bring up this matter and invite him to participate together. He owed Zhang Yun a favor. That's good, I'm also happy to go with you, thanked Don Zhang. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 760. As the auction came to an end, Zhang Yun also bid farewell. Before leaving, he also revealed a piece of news. The reason why everyone wanted to enter that senior's estate is because there must be a lot of top immortal grass in the estate. The method lacks top-level immortal herbs for practicing hands, and it also misses the top-level alchemist. While participating in the auction, the other bosses paid attention to the movements of Guyao and Zhang Yun, and found that they had been chatting for most of the day, and their hearts must have been attracted to each other. It was different from the old stuff of Suheking. They are advantageous. Compared with Su and Xing, Guyao's temperament is considered good. Guyao no longer stayed in the venue, and returned to Xianwutang with Master Qi Changjai and others. When they were leaving, the big guys reached out their spiritual senses to greet him, and Guyao responded politely. When asked if he would take the pill, Guyao also returned. After satisfying the needs of Xianwutang, if there is time, and will properly receive some orders for the emperor-level intermediate-level medicinal pills. All the bosses are overjoyed. It turned out that I underestimated this young alchemist, but I didn't expect him to come out on top. Judging from the situation of Void Pill, they have already left the old elixir masters such as Suheking and Zhang Yun behind. After today's auction, Guyao's threshold for seeking pills will undoubtedly be greatly increased. Some bosses can't help but regret it. If they make good wishes to Guyao before the auction, the price they need to pay will definitely not be too high. It's a pity, they were all fooled by the old thing Suheking, their alchemy skills were so-so, and they wanted to suppress the rising generation, their intentions were vicious, abominable. One by one, they angered Su and Qing in their hearts, especially the boss who failed to photograph the void pill at the venue, and scolded the old thing so much in his heart that he would never think of benefiting from this old thing in their hands in the future. Just like in the venue, since the news of the high-grade void pill came out, the atmosphere outside has also exploded. Many monks' brains have been stunned, and they feel that it is not enough. So many Sultan divisions. You must know that only low-grade pills appear in Jialan Pavilion, and Guyao's side doesn't even bother to throw low-grade pills on the auction floor. Hush! I can now imagine how much the Sultan's face hurts. And Jialan Pavilion, I heard that when Jialan Pavilion was in contact with the Sultan to prepare for this auction, the ancient alchemist didn't even give a notice. This is how much we look down on our ancient alchemist. Ah, now you know the consequences of offending the ancient alchemist, which auction will sell half of the auction. Jialan Pavilion is embarrassed this time. Jialan Pavilion deserves it. Even if there was no result before, Gu Alchemist is still a first-level emperor-level alchemist. How can a Jialan Pavilion look down on ancient alchemists? Not to mention how big an ancient alchemist has done in our Void City. The contribution of this Jialan Pavilion does not want to stay in our Void City. I can also see that the future of this Jialan Pavilion will be very sad. Well, let's see, the 3 major martial arts halls have to clean up this Jialan Pavilion. In Void City, the cultivators who used to stand on Suheking's side kept a low profile, for fear of being held by other cultivators to settle old accounts, secretly scolding Suheking, an old-fashioned alchemist, who couldn't even compare to an alchemist who had practiced for only 1,000 years. Intuit is extremely incompetent. Zhang Yun was about to start the furnace and try to refine the void pill, when he suddenly looked into the air, and the accompanying male cultivator was also vigilant. Master Sultan, since you're here, why don't you show up? There was a ripple in the air, and it turned out that Suheking appeared, without the usual gentle demeanor, and became sharp. Zhang Yun, have you told him about the legacy of Senior Pill God? Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows. He's qualified now, why can't he tell? Besides, the auction event spreads out, and then I'm not the only one who invites Gu Alchemist, Suheking, you can't stop it. You and I am old, and the room for improvement is limited, why not give the opportunity to the younger generation? Damn, Suheking was furious. Okay, I want to see if he has this chance. Zhang Yun, do it yourself. After he finished speaking, Suheking turned around and disappeared. Zhang Yun took off and watched for a while, and found that Suheking took the accompanying cultivator to the outside of Void City. Is he going to leave, or is he in a daze? Leave? Why are you so stubborn and unwilling to admit defeat? Didn't our generation come up on the foot of our predecessors, and now we are not willing to become a stepping stone for others? If you don't want to, you have to have the ability to fight, so you can go out of your way. Narrow and stingy. If he can't even pass this level, let alone a top-level alchemist, he can't even enter the door of a high-level alchemist. Master Zhang, are you really so optimistic about Master Gu? The male cultivator asked curiously. Zhang Yun smiled. Before this, didn't you wonder if the ancient alchemist could refine the void pill? But what about the result? The male cultivator was at a loss for words. At that time, he did have doubts, but the result was far beyond his expectations. Not only was it refined, but it was of high quality, and perhaps there was still some spare energy left. I heard that a lot of them were sent out. What does this mean? It shows that the success rate of pills is very high, and just relying on the void pills, he walked in the Sudan division. In front of Don Zhang, no wonder the old man Suheking was furious. Master, Shi Yuhua said unwillingly, pursing his lips, are we really leaving like this? Suheking looked at her coldly. Don't think that the teacher doesn't know your careful thoughts, and it's harmless when you are by the side, but now what you dare to do, don't blame the master for not reading the master-disciple relationship. He can't afford to lose this face. Shi Yuhua didn't dare to speak, but she was not reconciled. Not only did the trip to Void City fail to achieve its goal, but instead it fulfilled Mason's master and apprentice, and let them go up on their own master's reputation. How many monks and alchemists would laugh at her Shi Yuhua and her master? Hateful. Shi Yuhua's heart dripped with regret, not because he regretted provoking this master and apprentice, but because he was too soft on Mason, so he shouldn't have let him go, but directly killed him. Without him, it would be impossible to have today. The ancient remote. It has to be said that Shi Yuhua's idea is correct. You must know that the second half of the Book of Pills was still in Mei Sun's hands at that time. Without the second half of the book, it would be very difficult to advance the pill technique behind Guyao. Unless there is another adventure, if you rely on your own exploration, it will take a lot of time to study, deduce, and try. Guyao and Qi Changjai also watched Su Heking and his party in mid-air. Although the walk was bleak, it was a pity that Guyao was not very satisfied. The current situation is too far from the time when Master was forced to hide in Tibet, especially Shi Yunghua and Yunghua Pavilion. One day they will have to repay all this. I think my current strength is still not enough, otherwise I don't need to say it. With a bang, those outside forces will take the initiative to help suppress Yunghua Pavilion. A little Shi Yunghua is nothing. That's right, Qi Changjai took him by the shoulder. It's easy for us to kill Shi Yunghua now, and Su Heking can't stop it, but unfortunately it's not enough. Destroying her mentally is the real reward. Look at her. Now I can't even bow my head to admit my mistake and apologize, which shows that I am not reconciled. Relying on being a disciple of Su Heking, this person has been in the immortal world for thousands of years, and has long been accustomed to such a high status. But as long as Guyao continues to move forward, even if she is unwilling, she has to admit defeat. Even if she refuses to admit defeat, someone will tell her that she has lost, and she has lost completely. After this day, Guyao really became famous in the whole fairy, demon, and demon world. At the critical moment, it was the latter sent by Su Heking's master and apprentice himself to send Guyao to King Yun. Correspondingly, Su Heking's reputation and status have also been affected a lot with the return of various forces who came to Void City. It will spread more and more widely. Originally, Guyao didn't want to regard Su and Qing as an opponent. Because of the existence of an unknown enemy behind him, he planned to dormant for a while longer, and he didn't want to change his plan. In this case, I didn't want to continue to keep a low profile. Those who came to the door to ask for pills, picked them up, and picked up some selectively. Which orders have been accepted and which ones have not been accepted, the various forces guarding the Void City quickly reacted to Guyao's principle of accepting orders. One was the one who had friendship with Guyao in the past, such as the Extreme Demon Palace and the Emperor Xianhuan Palace. The Ji Palace, the Dragon and Phoenix and the Fox Clan, one of them gave out a reward that fit Guyao's heart. Guyao took it and accepted the order, and if he didn't like it, he retired. Go back. Some people really can't see the situation clearly, thinking that 3 melons and 2 dates can fool the ancient alchemist. Who are they looking down on? Huo Peng, Immortal Emperor, and a few old acquaintances got together to gossip about the situation. It's not self-confidence, and I refuse to bow my head to the underachievers. I didn't see how those old people were begging Su Heking before, but they actually ran up to Gu Alchemist to put on airs. It really deserves it. I haven't seen enough of the lesson yet. Several people did not sympathize with the fate of those guys at all. It would be better if there were fewer competitors. They can see clearly that since Guyao decided to stand up and slap Su Heking's face, he may be the same as before, even stepping on Su Heking's face, still care what these old things think. I heard that Dan Zhang has also made a void pill. I didn't have one before, but now it makes people feel like it's worthless, haha. However, Dan Zhang is also preparing to leave the Void City. Are you saying Dan Zhang wants to avoid the edge of the ancient alchemist or something else? It's hard to say. I think Dan Zhang and Dan Gu are attracted to each other. During this period of time, they often exchange alchemy techniques. Only when Dan Zhang leaves will it not affect the order received by Dan Gu. Otherwise, Dan Zhang will divide a part of it. Void City, in the final analysis, is still the territory of the ancient alchemist. I think so too. When Dan Zhang left, Guyao was also very regretful. He did learn a lot from discussing with Dan Zhang. Fortunately, the palace of the alchemy god will be open soon. At that time, it is not only alchemist Zhang who will meet. Of course, he did not think that the other alchemists are as talkative as alchemist Zhang, and there will be other alchemists behind Su Heking who support him.